This is my Range Rover that I bought for £800, and it's had quite a bit of work done here and there to it since I bought it. It was all going. It came off the road in March 2017 to have a bit of welding done behind the rear wing along here, and to change the front inner wings, which is a common problem on these. And whilst I was rooting around underneath this wheel arch, we hit problems, which can be seen in this clip from a few weeks ago. So it was a couple of weeks ago when I started stripping the classic Range Rover down. I stripped it down to do the cam belt, replace the inner wings, and do some work on the rear, on the near side rear quarter. The rear quarter's now pretty much done and all painted up and whatever. But just as I was starting to move on, if you like, I noticed that I was cleaning down here with a wire brush on the angle grinder, and I noticed that this plate here was completely rotten, and the body mount behind it, which is welded to the sill, had also rotted. This is what I think is part of the body mount, I'm not sure. So that's fit for the bin. So we took the plastic sort of sill cover off, if you like, that goes on the outside, and it looked a bit crusty. So I hit it with the hammer, and the whole thing pretty much fell off. So now we've started to move on. The inner sill's all right. I can reuse that. It's been replaced before, and it's seems strong enough. And then we've just started putting the outer sill back on, and it's coming on a treat, really. We've got the other bit that's going to go on the back of there. So I was at a show the other day, and I saw a guy called Lincoln Hunt and his brother showed me his 1972 Range Rover, sorry. And so I've now got an idea of how all this should look on the inside. So hopefully we can get it back to something up to scratch. But we're going to have to buy 2 new footwells because these ones they could be repaired, but it's not worth it for what that is. May as well buy new panels, I think. Be easier, at least. So I'm not for 1 minute claiming to have done all this work myself. I've had a guy come down and help out with all the fabrication and welding. You know who you are if you're watching, and it's very much appreciated of what you've done. So hopefully we might, by the end of the year, we might have it running. So after I did that video, all of this around here had to be replaced with a brand new panel that costs about £30 odd, and that's gone on all nicely, and the whole sills were replaced, the whole outer sill should I say. That door shuts, and because behind this plastic trim it was all rotten behind, and all of that has now been replaced and is all solid material. The chassis at the front, along the main parts there, I can't really talk, along there has been all cleaned and undersealed, but along the back here there's a nasty crack down the middle which will be addressed to shortly. But that's all that. So we got it to the point where it was sort of roadworthy, and just recently we've finished this side off again with a new C-post along here, because the original had been patched up on the corner where they tend to rot through. But obviously that looks a damn sight better than what was on there before, because again it was rotten at the bottom as well. And the sills were replaced as well. And then we've now got the running boards back on. But this overall is looking a lot better than the vehicle that I bought for £800. One problem I have had with it is that the bonnet release cable got burnt when I was removing the front inner wings, and I tried to bodge it back together, which didn't work. I'll turn the camera. So I had to buy a new one, and when I put it all back in, and bear in mind for weeks I was running around with a wire tie sticking out the front so I could pull it off, and after I bought a new one, and immediately the end came off of the handle. So again I had to bodge it back together, which you know, for £2.50 I wasn't happy about that, having to spend some money and then bodge it all back together. But all in all, I've not spent a lot of money on it. So I spent £2.50 on the bonnet release. Then the lower front valance, that was again £2.50 from a breakers, and that was replaced because the original one spontaneously combusted. And this pipe, which was rotten on the original engine, I got that again £2.50, and I bodged it to fit, because that is actually off of a Peugeot Boxer. So I spent a bit of money on that. And then the hydraulic brake pipes there, I had a couple of them. I think they come to about 15 quid for 4 of them. And then the inner wings themselves, they were £100 each, and they were damaged at that. So it does add up, but I haven't been spending money for the fun of it, you know. But it is what it is. If it needs it, it has to have it, don't it? But inside remains relatively untouched. It's all the original seats and what have you, and everything works apart from the rear windows, and the headlining sags a bit. But I thought I'd take the opportunity while this vehicle's actually clean, just to show how smart it can be. Another problem was that this armrest was sort of hanging off, and I had to strip the seat down and bolt it back on, which wasn't a major problem, but still, there you go. I invested in some LED lights, which light up better than the candles that was in here originally. And yes, but it's nice to see it all back in one piece. It's a far cry of what we had from when I bought it last September. We did, whilst the front end was off, whilst the inner wings was off, I changed the cam belt, which I did that myself. I've not, it's not caused any trouble. We also changed the water pump, because the old one was sort of on its last legs, so it couldn't have it to have a new one fitted. And apart from that, there's nothing else really worth talking about. I'll start it up just so you can hear what what it sounds like. Put the handbrake on into neutral. Again, like any 200, fires on half a crank, and sounds nice and smooth. It's getting ready for a service now, but the MOT is coming up, so that'll be done when that comes round. Again, when you listen to the exhaust note, it pairs quite nicely. It was a new exhaust last Christmas, and it seems to be holding out quite well, to say it was only a cheap one. Again, not a lot of money gets spent on this, so there's a bit of wear on the driver's seat, but it's 24 years old coming up for, so that can't be. I normally have seat covers in, but they're in the wash at the minute, and it's quite nice to actually have a comfortable seat to sit on, so, because it does make quite a bit of a difference taking the seat cover off. But yes, well chuffed. There's still a bit more to do, like I mentioned earlier, on the chassis, but at least she drives now. So that's that. This is the scrap bin where unfortunately many old Range Rovers come to die. These are some of the old bits. That's the one of the seat posts, but that's part of the near side front inner wing, which you can clearly see at the bottom has gone through there, and I'm told that they're not an MOT tested item, but personally I think the garage that I go to would have thrown the book at this, knowing how bad they are. But there's a bit of old sill down there, which I'm not going to pull out. But yeah, that's where most of my £800 gone, in the bin.